First up, protesters clashing today in Salem, with one group supporting President Donald Trump, the other supporting Black Lives Matter. This comes after a large Trump rally gathered in Oregon City. Let's get outside to our Fox 12's Drew Reeves, who's been out there following this rally, or these multiple rallies for us. A lot going on out there, Drew. He joins us now live from Salem with the very latest. Drew?
Yeah, it's definitely been a changing situation out here in Salem. When we first arrived, things were fairly calm, and it was a larger group of Trump supporters, but that definitely kept growing and growing once we arrived here. And the group across the street of people who were saying they were out supporting Black Lives Matter was fairly small, but about 20 minutes or so after we got here, that's when things really started to change. We saw Trump supporters rushing across the street after that group of counter-protesters. They had said that the counter-protesters were firing paintballs at them. We saw them rush after that crowd. They were firing paintballs at them as well. And then from there, things just kind of continued to escalate. We then saw a man who was standing in the middle of the street holding a Black Lives Matter sign, and the group told him he needed to get out of the street, then took his sign, and in response to that, he stripped down and was maced by the crowd. A very interesting situation. And then another time, the group rushed after counter-protesters across the street from them, firing at paintballs and tackling them to the ground. That's when we actually saw two arrests police made from the group of Trump supporters that rushed after that person. We saw two of them arrested. And again, this all followed a pro-Trump rally that gathered in Oregon City at Clackamas Community College. Originally, we thought that group might be traveling to Portland, but the caravan then got onto the highway heading south, and we heard there was a rally that was happening in Salem, and some of the group was going there. We did see many of the caravan members drive off at Woodburn and turn back around, but then some of them came out here to Salem, and that's when we continued to see the crowd growing and growing. Now, before we did leave Oregon City, I was able to talk to some of the protesters and ask them if they were worried about clashes or violence after what happened at the last pro-Trump rally. They told me that they were concerned about that, but also felt that they needed to stand up for what they think is right.
It's scary, but I feel like it's very necessary to support the founding principles of our country, and that right now, that's Trump.
We have seen that some of the protesters out here are armed. We've seen some AR-style rifles. We've also seen lots of paintball guns and baseball bats as well. Most of that has been from the crowd in support of Trump. It doesn't really seem like there are many counter-protesters out here anymore, and things have definitely calmed down kind of in the last half hour or so. We've definitely seen these things calming down, but we'll continue to be out here, and not really sure how much longer this group plans on staying out here. But again, it does appear that the counter-protesters have left the area. Reporting live in Salem, Drew Reeves, Fox 12 Oregon.